Hi there, Diecast fans. What we have here is a BMW 328i in 1:24 scale by Welly Diecast. Now, for BMW fans or aficionados right there, yes, this diecast is based on the E46 generation of the BMWs, the fourth generation, which was introduced back in the late 90s. And yes, this is the competitor for the another German sports sedan like the C-Class Mercedes-Benz and the Audi A4, to name a few. I really like the design of this generation of BMW 3 Series, especially the E46. If you compare them to the newer ones, it's gonna be flashy and exaggerated and too much going on to the design. This is more of a subtle and very simple design, and yet elegant and sports looking and very proportioned in every angle that you look at this the car itself or even the diecast model. Now, I got this diecast model in 2007 and I paid around 9 to 10 US dollars back then in 2007, of course. They also offered a 1:18 scale of the E46 3 Series. Since budget constraints, I only got the 1:24 scale. Now, I have no idea if Welly is still selling this E46 3 Series BMW into their catalog or into their lineup. So if you're interested on purchasing one of these, your chances are getting in the second-hand market or maybe some toy stores or hobby shops right there that still have one of these old stock of the 3 Series 1:24 or 1:18 scale BMW 3 Series. So, paying around 9 to 10 US dollars back in 2007 for a 1:24 BMW 3 Series, let me just show you what to expect or the pros and cons of this diecast model, of course, starting on the front. And there you go. As expected, the first thing you're gonna see, or very resemblance, or very known for the BMWs, of course, the two kidney grills right there. You cannot see through the grills. It's just a texturized plastic with a chrome lining on the outside of each kidney grill. And you can see there the headlight to represent, I think, a quad headlamp. That's their signature design for every BMWs back in the 70s and the 80s, if you compare them. Now, for the detailing of the headlamps, I think Welly could have done a little bit better for this. If you compare them to the real thing, of course, you can't resist to compare to the real thing. There's not much depth towards the headlight itself. Yes, it's detailed with acrylic glass on it, and they also had an effort to include also those turn signals right there with the amber color in it, with a little bit of texture on it. The pegs are way too obvious for this, and there's not too much depth, so it looks like a fake looking headlights that just purchased for the 3 Series. But it's just me, it's a subjective matter. There's no fog lights. 328 series models BMWs should have fog lights right there, but it's not included. There's no grill on the bumper, just a painted section with a separate plastic, I think. The entire front is integrated to the body shell, so there's gonna be no gaps or whatever. There's just gonna be some lines on it, and unfortunately the hood doesn't open, so don't expect any engine detailing for that. And almost forgot the plate number that looks like a European plate number. I'm really not familiar with the European designs of their plate numbers. I think they made their own, as you can see there, and of course the BMW logo, it's a sticker, so better be careful when you're cleaning one if you had one of these. Now, for the front tires of this diecast model, so you can see there, the tires and wheels looks proportioned to the entire diecast model. I have to give them that. But let me point this out first. This is not the original tires that came from the diecast models. You can see there's writings on it. The stock ones doesn't have one of those. This came from a 1:24 scale plastic model kit. I just test fitted it, and it fits, and it looks good with the correct profile on it. That's that. And there's no disc brake since this is a budget 1/24 scale as expected. And you can see also there the painted side markers on the fender. Now for the side profile of this diecast model. So you can see there the door itself. Now you can only open 2 doors on the front. So this is a 2-door opening 4-door sedan. Since again it's a budget model, they won't include those to build some hinges right there on the B pillar and whatsoever. But still they had this. But still they had an effort to color the window frames right there with the matte black, satin black on it, and just to separate right there the plastic molding, they painted it black. And going to the rear tires right there, let me just zoom in. Same detailing, the same tires from the 1/24 plastic model kit. There's no disc brakes, although I have to give them credit for the proportion of the wheels and tires for this diecast model. Welcome to the back side right here. Now, for cost-cutting method of this diecast model, you would obviously see the single color transparency red of the entire tail lamp of this 3 Series BMW. So there's no amber orange coloring on it, just a plain red on everything. Even the reverse light, they didn't bother to cut out something for it. But that's Welly. So you could see a peg right there, a peg right there, and a peg on the right side. And even though they had the cost-cutting method, they included this plastic molding, a separate plastic molding for the rear bumper. The front also has one. It's not painted, only the sidings right here on the body shell of the diecast. You could see there the license plate, the weird looking license plate with a weird font on it. The garnish, which is, I think this is a painted one or a separate one, if I can look closely. And you can see that the BMW logo, a tiny sticker on it, and a 328i insignia. Now, fortunately, unlike the hood itself, you can open the trunk. So there's lots of German gray coloring on it. If you could try to zoom in, if we can, there we go. There's really nothing. Now you could put some things on it. I don't know what kind of things that you want to put on this thing. Oh, I almost forgot. The tailpipe itself, no, there's no holes on it, but it's a separate gray part for it. Now for the interior, we open the door and it's a dogleg hinges. That's why it opens like a toy light. I really am not a fan of those hinges. So it's just a plain gray molded plastic on the door card. It's really not much to see, but it's richly detailed in my opinion. And going to the interior, they only had this sticker for the dashboard pinnacle for the speedometer and tachometer or rev counter. So as we observe down below, it's a stick shift. It's a manual transmission, 2.8 inline 6, very sporty one, if this is the real thing. So the entire color of the interior of this diecast model is just plain old gray. As expected, for every German cars, they're going to use their own German gray color, even for the diecast model. So if you wanted to improve this, maybe you could tackle some additional paints on it to give them a little details if you had the time and effort to do so. But more importantly, all the details and expected parts that you're going to see are there. And for those who are curious, in the right side part of the diecast model, you can see there the dashboard itself, the seats. There's no carpeting. This is just a big molded gray plastic on it. There is really not much to see there. They also included some buttons on it for the air conditioning control, or I think this is not yet the era for the infotainment. So this is just a car stereo, I think. But it's there. Now, for those who are curious what's underneath the diecast model, let me point this out. In 1/24 scale, the steering wheel doesn't turn. It's just a steady ones right there. You cannot steer the front wheels itself. You can see there just a big plastic molding. Also included the transmission, the cross member, and the parts of the exhaust system, and some parts of the suspension. And I think this is a cover for the engine itself, and the unibody chassis railings right there, and the gas tank, I think, right there. The reserve part, this mold for the reserve wheels right there on the trunk, but you cannot see it since this is a budget model. Like I said before, they separated the muffler system for this diecast model. Now, my verdict for this diecast model. Now, despite this sloppy detailing for the headlamp itself, this is still a good looking, well represented 1/24 scale of the E46 BMW. For $9, this is what you're gonna get. Absolutely, it's not going to be a big mistake, especially if you are a BMW fan or just a fan of the German touring cars and doesn't want to consume too much space, since the 1:18 scale is way too big for your display cabinets. Well, this is the diecast model to go for, especially this 1:24 scale. Now, like I mentioned before, they also offer the 1:18 scale on a well-detailed manner, of course. There's gonna be some cons right there, like I said before, so don't expect too much. But since I own this diecast model for more than 10 years, there's really not much of an issue. Maybe some paint rashes on it, but then again, that's natural for every diecast models. So overall, owning this diecast model is going to be a splendid and a cheerful one. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you and entertains you again and again. If you want to purchase a 1/24 scale E46 BMW diecast model from Welly, and have a nice day.